Well, we're at Larford Lakes today and we're on the famous Spessy Lake, and it's home to some massive fish, and that's the perfect place for us to be using the MTX margin 11 metre. I'm going to fish 2 swims, 11 metres down the edge into 2.5 foot of water, and then a 2+2 line with 8mm pellets, and hopefully we're going to catch some lovely grizzly creatures on this little beauty. Well, it's an afternoon session. I'm hoping to catch big carp from the off. Ideally, they're going to be there from the off. If not, I expect to get some fish in the peg within half an hour. So I'm going to feed just the fishery 8s. I've put a bit of oil on those just to make them a little bit heavier and denser and smellier. And I'm just going to pop, I don't know, 8 to 10 on a 2+2 swim. I've lined it up with that flag post already. Just drop them in from a height, make a bit of a rattle. I'm going to leave my pot out there. Just get my eye in for throwing. From now on, I'm just going to throw 8mm there. Let's do it again. Just a few more. Just 3s and 4s. They're 8mm pellets. We're not going to catch too many silverfish on them. It's going to be nice and selective. So, and then let's dump some bait in down our edge. Now I've got my big pot out, and I've got some ground bait mixed up, but because it plumbs up a little bit like a ski ramp, I'm going to stick with micros and corn to start with. And if we need to introduce ground bait to get some fish into the peg, then we will. But I'm just going to go down a pellet and corn route. So I'm going to feed 2/3 of a pot of micros and just a palm full of corn to start with. I'll say I've got other baits with me. I've got dead maggots, I've got some worms, but I love catching on corn and micros. So we'll try that. And so I'm just to the right of that white post. I'm going to dump it from a height. Just ring that dinner bell. And on venues where you're allowed, pop a bit of water in as well. Extra noise and attraction. Some venues you're not allowed to cup in water. So that's it. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to leave that. I'll probably feed that again before we go down there. And I'm just going to try and catch what I can first 20 minutes on this short line. I know roughly where we're going there. So that's it. We're going to start with a banded 8, feeding 8s. Lovely way of fishing. Already got one bait banded up on a 14 MXC4. It is exactly a top kit. It's very deep. So it is a deep lake, this, which is why I think the fish are so big. Plenty of water for them. Put my drawer there. So 2+2. Nice positive rig. One of the new Power Slim floats. 0.5 gram. Just a bulk of 8s and two number 8 droppers. 0.20 hook length. No messing. I've got 14 to 16 slick on this. Probably I'll be wishing I'd put the 16 to 18 on, but we'll be able to catch all sorts. We will catch an odd skimmer and stuff on this, but it's carp I want. So I think that is a skimmer. Whereas you might bump them on the green. So whilst that's there, we'll throw a few more. Yeah, nice skimmer. I don't mind catching these at the start. And that's a 14 ounce in the net straight away. No bother. We'll pop that straight back though. That's not going to go in the keep net today. And we'll pop another 8mm on. These are the pre-tied. I've gone with the 4-inch pre-tied hooks. And I've just moved the last dropper up a little bit more, so the last dropper is about 6 inches away. We can move it closer, potentially, but I don't think we'll need to today. So I'm going to flick the rig out and let it sort of arc towards me. Now I fed twice whilst I was playing that skimmer, so there should be some bait on the bottom. And we might find that the skimmers are really hungry today, so we've got to feed quite a few 8s to get the carp interested. Surprising what will eat an 8mm pellet this time of year. There we are. That feels a bit, no. I thought we got a carp then. I mean, if these are the 2 and 3 pound a piece bream in here, then we don't mind catching them. Tell you what, that's half a carp there, isn't it? Can we just do this all day? Oh, he's got the spawning tubercles. And he's proper nailed that. I wouldn't call that a skimmer. A lot of people would. I'm going to put him straight back there. Well, it's been a skimmer or a bream or chuck on that short line, so we'll keep feeding there, but I'm itching to go down the side, and if the carp don't want to be in that depth, hopefully they're going to want to be in that shallower water. Not seeing any signs down there, but in 2.5 foot of water you might not, so I'm just going to put another decent palmful of both in. Dump that in. I'm sure even if the carp aren't there, the silvers would have cleared that out. So we're going to quickly dump a reasonable amount down the side, but not a silly amount. And we're going to go straight on it. I'm just feeding just to the left of where I plumbed up, just slightly more into deeper water. And then I'm going to bring my hook bait this side. Hopefully that will result in a cleaner bite. I'm going to leave my cupping kit there as well, ready for when we start feeding. So no nonsense rig this. So it's 023 main line, and again I've got the pre-tied MXC2 hooks on this, a 12 to 020 and a double corn, no missing. Nice big heavy double corn hook bait. I've got the large flexi toss pot on as well with the extender rig on, but we're not going to feed with that just yet. We're going to just continue with the big pot until we know what's what. So let's see if we can get a bite. First look down the side. Like I say, I've not seen any signs, but that doesn't mean anything. Just to the right of that post. And that nice heavy hook bait will tell us where it should be sat. Straight away a bite. Oh, see that big bow wave there? So that went on a carp's back, and I've had a I never saw a sign of a carp down there, but we definitely dropped it on a fish's back. And I know it's nicked one of my grains of corn. It's a good sign that they're there, but yeah, we definitely lowered it onto that fish's back. I don't know if you caught that on the camera, but something big did bow wave away. I could have dropped it straight back down, but in my experience with a 12 hook, you need 2 grains of corn on it really. Nice big focal hook bait. So I'm going to lower it in a little bit more delicately this time. Just say, I'm thinking I'm probably going to have to go back out with another little dollop of bait, but we'll just see, because this is our initial look. There might be another one there. See, that was a little blink. There might be that big fish bolting off could have spread all that bait. So we'll just give it a minute, and then I won't hesitate to come back and fill the pot up again, or go in with this large toss pot I've got on the end. Give myself a quick countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1 and a bit. Alright, let's give them some more grub. They've either been and ate it, or that fish has spread it all. So it's just about being disciplined. Hook bait's there, and the pot's just there. So a bit more corn again, not so much this time. Not quite so much. I'm breaking down twice because there's an awkward sort of hill behind me. Let's just feed that. But absolutely, that fish came straight in. I'm not going to tip it in from such a height this time. Right, I'm already baited up to go. I'm going to take, before we do anything, I'm going to take one little shot off that rig. That's it. Nice and easy. Just so we've got a bit more bristle on show. Big old fish in here. Could catch a 20 pounder today. Be nice, wouldn't it? But they could all be babies, only 6 to 10 pound. Right. So we just took an extra shot off now, because it is quite choppy down there. Ooh, that was a wobble. I'd like to have found 2 foot down there, but it was like a ski ramp. So I found 2.5 foot. Didn't matter where I plumbed up, it was 2.5 foot. And that seemed a reasonable sort of gradient. Then it was a horrible ski ramp, there we are. And then I found 18 inches. So we've got an 18-inch mark on the top kit and a 2.5 foot mark. If they get really excited, we'll catch them in 18 inches. That's a good sign anyway. I was right to take that shot off because it was just dotted down a bit too much for me. Feels like a decent fish. I'm in no rush to ship back. So we're back to 2 plus 2. You can add those sections if they decide to go on a run. It's because it's quite a shallow gravelly bottom on the inside. I fully expect a few to suddenly bolt off once they feel it. They don't like coming into the shallower water. It feels a good fish. I'm on 18 to 20 slick, my favourite margin gear. Loads comes out still. It's even on small carp on that, it's not as fierce as some people think. I know Aidan, one of our consultants, he wouldn't hesitate to use 20 to 22 down there, but I like this red stuff. See, he's still going off. Just take your time. If they're all 10 pound a piece, you don't need many fish. So I'm going to add my 2 sections, just in case. He's coming back. Just in case. He's a wallower. Come to Johnny. The key now is to try and net him at the first opportunity without him shooting off. So we're just going to try and top him in front where my landing net will be. Don't put your landing net in there yet because he won't want to go near it. As soon as he pops up, ooh, a big old kipper, isn't he? So I've had days here where my fish have averaged 12 pound. That's been the average size. A lot of high protein bait goes in here. It's a big old lake and the fish are just beasts, especially the margin ones. It can feel like forever playing them sometimes, and it's not. It doesn't matter if it's £10 plus. Come on it. Oh. He's not rushing out, it's not bolting off, he's just doggedly hanging on down by my feet. Showing no sign of wanting to come in. Now he's surging off. We can just turn him, guide him upwards. There we are. There we are. There we are. There we are. That's what I like. That feels more. Come on in. One little wallow. There we are. First go. Great big common. Take your time, because they're monstrous fish. That's a big old double. How big do you reckon? I'm going to say it's 15, possibly more. It might be 18. Well, it's been a dream start. We've had a quick double figures of skimmers short, and then we've gone down the edge. First fish, great big fish, at least 15 pound. I haven't got scales, but it was a big old kipper. So I've put another decent third of a big pot down there, and we'll have a quick look at the rig, because I'm itching to get down there and catching another one. So as I said already, 18 to 20 slick through a full power top kit. Absolutely perfect for fish like that. As you've seen, it will deal with anything. It stops that initial run. If you go too light, they can just keep going and going and going, and you haven't got the welly to turn them on a massive lake like this where they could keep swimming forever. So I like to boss the fish and try and control them from the off. So 18 to 20 slick is always my favourite margin elastic. And as you can see, I've got the large flexi toss spot on there with the extender ring as well. I may or may not use that for feeding, but it's on there if I need it. So 023 main line, no messing. And I've got an 023 hook length as well, because this is these are scary fish in this place. If you hook them, they're not too line shy. They haven't got a chance to be line shy, because nobody fishes fine here, and you've seen fish that size, you don't want to be messing around. So I've got a 1/2 gram mud line. Some people use the power margin down there, but I just like the mud line. It's just nice. 2mm bristle, glass stem, no nonsense float, and I'll use that for up to sort of 2.5 foot of water. 1/2 gram, just a bulk of number 8, 6 inches from the hook. In this instance, you could go nearer. Then I've got a 4-inch hook length, again, 023 to a 12 MXC2. So the pre-ties only go up to 020 in the 12. So these are my own that I've tied to 023. So, and double corn, but on a 12 you can fish double corn, bunch of dead maggots, worms, big 8mm expander, but 2 grains of corn. That's what we've got. Hopefully they've not ate it all. We'll try and catch another one. So I say, I have no signs of that fish that was in the peg. You know, there's been no tails or nothing. It's 2.5 foot of water anyway. It's quite a sheer slope, so they're not going to give themselves away. Let's see if we can get one. They might have ate that already. They've been waffling for a little bit. I'm not going to leave it too long before we come back and feed. There's a bit of a waft there. Ooh, see that walloped under. Let's feed again. Don't be scared to feed. I'm going to feed with a toss spot. One nick one of my grains of corn as well. When they're only just hanging off, I like to rethread them a bit deeper. 2 large grains. Try and pick out the larger grains in the tub. I'm just going to go in with corn now. I feel there's fish there, so I'm cutting out the micro pellets completely. Micros are for the attraction. Corn is the target bait. So if we can just get them eating corn, happy days. But we might find we just have to put a little bit of micros in each time. We'll see if we can catch one just feeding corn. At least I know with corn, the corn's going to go straight down and no wafting or missing. So it's probably 20-30 grains of corn. Just take your time, just get that rigging right. Always flick it out from the bank so it can arch into that gradient. So we might find we've got to go in with the big pot each time. We'll just see if we can catch off a large toss pot. But I know if we miss a bite, that's probably our chance where we'll have to feed again. One carp will eat all that in one go. You saw how big that fish's mouth was that I just had. Well, you tend to find they're really cued into micro pellets on these venues, all ground bait. So I'm just trying to catch without it. But if not, it might be a case of having to feed some pudding as well. Ooh. I'm not convinced that was a carp. Oh, there's a bit of a tail pattern, just a bit closer in, so it might have been a small carp. There are some stockies in here now. There's quite a few smaller carp in here as well as the big boys. But it's the big edge pigs we want. Yeah, see, I didn't strike at that because it was a funny old bite and it was a skimmer. So that's telling me we need to go in with a big pot. I don't think there's enough bait there each time. So let's go in with a big pot. A nuisance hybrid, nearly a pound. Yeah, let's go in with a big pot. I'm going to feed a good 2/3 of a big pot this time. A load of bubbles just came up then closer, but this is like all been redone, this bank, and it's all gravelly and rocky and stuff, so it's not like a muddy margin anymore. So there's all sorts of air bubbles that get kicked up. At least we know by the time we've fed this. Oh, there's a big carp on the surface a bit further out there. Not seen any carp when we got here, which is unusual. But it's a sort of high pressure day. That gives us time to bait up. Tractor coming. And again, if you find yourself striking and missing bites and having to come back and rebait too much, that's when I swap to either a double worm or a big bunch of dead maggots. We're just going to try and catch some double corn to start with. So I'm fishing the margin Pollard. It's full 11 metres, and I've also got the little mini extension behind me added to the pole. Just gives me that extra ½ metre to follow a fish out if I hook one. And a beautifully strong pole, and obviously it all interchanges with the MTX family. So a great addition if you own any other pole above it, you know, the 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we're going to get something coming in soon. Yeah, beautifully strong sections. You can really hang on, you know, if you've got a real snaggy peg. perfect for a place like this where the fish are massive, but if you've got somewhere full of lilies and things, you know, this is the tool you're going to reach for every time. And being 11 metres is that little bit longer than most margin poles. So gives you that a bit of extra reach. And obviously it's called a margin pole, but you don't have to use it down the margin. And being 11 metres long, you can use it nicely out in the middle of the lake. Let's just flick that in again. A grebe just went through the peg, I think, then. Just popped up a few metres away anyway. So we've had a decent pot of bait. It's suddenly gone flat calm now. So I reckon we're going to get a wallop in a sec. But yeah, like all the poles in the family, it's got the little nose cones on the 3 and the 4. Absolutely brilliant for getting your sections on and off really fast. Obviously protects that end of the pole as well. Wallop. Nice and strong. So you never know. Sometimes you hook them and you think, oh, that's only a few pound, and all of a sudden it's the big ones that tend to stay there, and the smaller ones shoot off like little crazy madmen. This one's just kiting out of the peg. Just ascertain how big it is before we take a couple of sections off. Not doing a lot, so it could be a nice big one again. Ooh, see, this is one of the big wallowers. We might be able to just scoop him before he sees my ugly face. No, big mirror. And you've got massive mouths of fish in this lake as well, so they can take 2 grains of corn, no problem. So I'm not even going to use my puller at the moment because he's going to come up. If he's going to come up, we'll have him first go. There we are. Another one bites the dust. Oh, it's a baby that. It's only about 12. Wow. What a venue. There you go. I'm not going to hold him up for long, but a proper, especially Lake Warrior. Happy days. We've got 2 fish for, I'm going to say £30. Let's see if we can't make it 3. Ooh, that was straight away. That caught me off guard, that. But they're not really showing themselves. They're coming in stealth mode. A fish that size in 2.5 foot of water. But I think because it's quite a gravelly bottom, that's part of the reason. As it gets warmer, you might catch them in 18 inches, but I'm quite happy to keep them in this 2.5 foot if they behave. I'm sure you can fish paste down there and things like that as well, but I just find it's nice and comfy fishing like this. Another one didn't want to move, now he's going. But never ever feel in danger with this pole though, it's so strong. Can really hang on. I think this isn't as big. Now he's going back. I'm in no rush to get it on the pole rollers. Yeah, it's a small one. just feel everything's right at the moment, rig wise and pole wise. Definitely a smaller one. If you can try and get him first go, if I'd have missed him I think we'd have had some trouble, but that's probably £8, maybe 7. I am terrible with fish size. No, I'm going to say that's 8. Lovely. We're only going to keep a few fish back just for a photo. So, and we're not fishing long enough anyway. So don't worry, we're not going to fill the net as much as I'd like to. And right, yeah, discipline. Let's get feeding every fish. I'm not going to go in thinking, oh, I reckon there's another one there. Let's make sure there is. So I don't want to suddenly ship out there and say, oh, I wish I'd fed. Because what happens is often the bream and skimmers come in, mopping up what's left. Half a pot per fish seems about right at the moment. Something swirled a little bit closer in then. I don't know if that was a carp. But that's the thing, you've got to keep an eye on stuff like that. If they are showing signs of coming into even shallower water, you know, they can blow that bait up the bank, and that might be where we have to catch them. We've got another Larford Specie Lake carp on here. Hopefully I've got enough time just to tell you, if you comment below, tell us what your biggest margin caught fish is, and you can win yourself a set of Matrix Mudline pole floats. So yeah, comment below, tell us what your biggest fish is, and see if it's bigger than this one I've got on here. Well, we just started to get plagued by 2 and 3 pound bream in that 2.5 foot of water. So I've come into 18 inches and feeding micro pellets again, but this time I've gone with dead maggots, which I tend to prefer in shallower swims. Corn in deep swims and dead maggots in very shallow swims. Probably shouldn't have unshipped that section there. He's just wallowing. Let's put these sections back on again just in case. But yeah, no signs of it in the peg, but it's just walloped under with about 7 dead maggots on the hook, and feels like a good fish. But yeah, I just put a palm full of dead maggots and the same amount of micros, just a bit higher up in the shallower water. All the while whilst I'm playing, I'm always looking just to see if there's anything there. There's a match angler in me. Just seeing if there are fish there, but I can't see anything. There was no sign of this fish in the peg. But because you're catching so many skimmers and, well, big bream and things, should have had him really. That was just a signal to come into shallower water, somewhere a bit less likely to hold those bream. Obviously we can always drop back into 2.5 foot of water if the carp don't come into shallower water. But as they get more aggressive, they want to come in. Beautiful common this. Should have had him in the net already, but too busy waffling. But he's right out there, so I can't scoop him just yet. I'm going to get... Actually not doing a lot. I don't want to stab at him till I know he's over the net. Immaculate fish in this place, big warriors. Seen it all before, but very, very catchable on margin tackle. And as always, it's always a last 2 hour job at this place. later into the day. You could be sat there catching nothing, but as soon as you get to late afternoon, they come in for a munch, and that's what they're doing today. Come on. But you've got to boss the fish. There's no point messing around. 0.20 minimum. I'm fishing 0.23 hook length today. Take no prisoners. Go on, this time we got you. Oh, just not got the strength. Go on in this time. I didn't like that. There's a time and a place for finesse, and margin fishing on the Spessy Lake at Larford is not the place. Come on, come on. He's an angry one, I'm going to have to... Come on, get a gobful. We got you. That's what happens if you miss them first time, that's it. Lovely. We got him. And as you can see, I've got the big landing net on as well. Don't go messing around with a little landing net at this place. By all means, set a smaller one up for your normal fishing, but I'd always have a second one up with a big pan on for a place like this, because there's every chance of catching a fish 20 pound at this place. Look at that, absolute golden. No wonder he fought. Right. Well, we started on a unit and we've ended on a unit. So I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, don't forget to like and subscribe. There's loads more videos on the Matrix channel. And yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed that. We're going to slip this one back because he's a little bit lively. And yeah, don't forget to check out that 11 metre margin pole as well. Absolute beast tamer for fish like this.